What's up, everyone? Shane and
Ryan.
from
Brr.
from R&S TCG. So today's topic at hand: wizards. Fucking going woke, man. Jesus. This is it doesn't surprise me, but it's so. Just to give you an idea what we're talking about here, this article here from wargamer.com. There was also articles on what sites, Ryan?
I think it was Dote Gamer and then comicbook.com as
Yeah.
well picked it up. And
Okay.
a bunch of and a couple of YouTubers have picked up. I'm not going to mention the names, but I feel like they've picked them up, so I think it's gonna start spreading a little quicker here, I think.
So, Ryan and I might disappear from the screen for a minute because stupid ass OBS Studio wants to be weird here. But you can still hear us. Right, Ryan?
I hope so.
So, article here MTG may axe shamans and druids on religious grounds. Magic the Gathering may be about to ditch the shaman and druid creature types, according to social media posts by MTG head designer Mark Rosewater. Article here to give him credit by Matt Basil from 11 days ago. Magic the Gathering is considering dropping the shaman and druid creature types because of the term's significance as real world religious identifiers. MTG head designer Mark Rosewater has revealed. This came up after Rosewater told his Tumblr audience that warlock was used instead of witch because the latter is a term used in religions today by modern day Wicca groups. Blah, 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 blah. You get the idea here. So we decided to do a little investigating of our own to kind of get, you know,
Yeah, we didn't
kind of
think
to the
this
bottom of
this
this.
Yeah, it didn't sound legit, and some of the links for some of the websites were they were going nowhere, and we were like, I don't think this is real because he also posted that this was didn't he posted it was false, right?
Yeah, there was one in there I don't have that one pulled up, but yeah, there was one where he says, "Oh yeah, that was a rumor. It was something about witches or something like that being removed, being a rumor." And it's like, well, it doesn't make sense because, as you'll see here in a second, here's some of the other things that he did say when we went and looked through his Tumblr. And on a side note here, Tumblr's a mess. Like
It really is.
it's not it's not easy to search through things. Like on my phone, if you search through, you scroll and then it loads and you scroll more. But on your phone, it doesn't tell you the dates for any of these posts.
Yeah.
You know, when
So
you when you're using your phone, and then when you go on the internet, yeah, you can see the dates, but you have to scroll down to the bottom and go to the next page because each page only shows like 10.
yeah. So it was a lot of work to try and find like for a hot minute we were like this is fake news.
Yeah, we thought
Like
it
this
was
is
because
not
we
real.
couldn't find anything.
But then we found this we found where the
We
fire was
found the
coming from.
smoking gun here. So the first, and again, I apologize if we disappeared again, but everything else should be popping up. The first thing I saw here is in a reference to the question. This is a user, a goat chariot rider is the user. In reference to the question about using witch as a creature type, if witch is excluded because of its significance as a real world religious identifier, why are shaman and druid creature types? To his And he responds, we are currently examining that exact topic. And that's kind of where this article is pinging off of. Like, wait a minute, you guys are looking at getting rid of shaman and druid? And before we get into the um, kind of the nitty gritty of what that really means, and how that's really bad for both Magic and D&D. Let's go into these other posts that I found as well after that, and then you and I can expound on why this is a problem. So there was that one. Hold on one second here. I think there was another. Okay, this delicate turtle angel, used his quote. We are currently examining that exact topic, and then they say, "Are you considering retiring druid and shaman, or bringing witch to the table?" He says the former. So they're considering, according to him, considering retiring druid and shaman creature types. It's like, okay, well, then the next one, that one, this doesn't matter that much. But the next one I want to point out was this one says, please don't phase out. This is Andy Montalban. Please don't phase out druids. I've always enjoyed seeing local Celtic culture/history represented, and unlike witches, they're not a sinister depiction. If magic can handle exaggerated fantasy clerics, angels, and demons, I think we deserve druids alongside them. Christian symbols have already crowded out pagan alternatives in too many places. Mark Rosewater responds, druid is far less of an issue than shaman. Well, he's already kind of backpedaling. He says druid
It's not. It's the same damn thing almost.
Yeah, druid and shaman are on the chopping block in his last one when somebody asked about this, then he says, well, no, since you said something about druids, I'm going to tell you that no, they're not really that issue. It's shamans, because you didn't bring up shamans. He seems to be backpedaling here. And you know,
all right. So let me
go into it, Ryan.
All right, here. So let's talk about how this all started. This started like what, three years ago or so. Wizards of the Coast decided that if people play Dungeons and Dragons, there are certain races you could play that were inherently evil, specifically Drow, which are the dark elves, right? I think orcs and half-orcs were also considered evil as well. They wanted to get rid of the evil connotation that was associated with those races. So if you played a Drow, you weren't people weren't in the game world weren't going to look at you and go, "Oh no, it's a Drow. They're evil." Like, I mean, they basically got rid of the racial stereotyping, which is great.
But it's of a fantasy made up fucking character.
You're in a fantasy world, and part of the allure of playing some of these races is to like one of the most famous Drow is Drizzt Do'Urden, right? He threw off his shackle of evil, and he's gone on to try and prove that that not you look at them on an individual basis rather than as a whole, right? And that was sort of the allure of playing these races. Like, you wanted to prove that you weren't sort of the same cut from the same as all these others, and that was kind of the draw and the fun of it. Well, they got rid of that, and then they got rid of the specifically with half-orcs. Like, half-orcs used to be like super strong. It was built into their class, but they were also ugly as snot, so they had less charisma. That was built in. Well, they got rid of all that as well because they didn't want to stereotype.
So now you're basically all whitewashing everything now and making everything is on the same fucking playing field. Which
everything's on the same playing field.
So basically all the characters are very similar now. They're just
they're very similar. Basically, yeah, pretty much. But they do have racial, I guess, abilities that are they brought
that are unique to them or whatever.
Yeah, unique to them. But I mean, you got rid of a lot of the cool role playing aspects of playing those races. Here's the problem: because Wizards owns both Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering, let's just say if they do decide to get rid of Druids and Shamans not so much because they're not really a class in Dungeons and Dragons, but they are sort of a monster class. If they decide to get rid of Druids are like one of the top main classes in the game. If they decide that Druids and Shamans are a problem in Magic the Gathering, that's going to bleed over into Dungeons and Dragons soon, and you're going to lose one of the most popular and fan favorite classes in the entire game. That is a problem. That is a huge problem, because they're afraid of insulting someone's sensibilities. Not even people that actually are real.
No.
Of these, it's people who are complaining for them, which is basically what this. It's not even what woke used to be. I mean, woke, has been around since the 50s. And it used to mean one thing. It used to mean being aware of like societal injustices that are built into just basically built into our society. Like racial discrimination is built into our society, just I mean, that's how it used to be. I mean, but we've moved on from acknowledging that as a thing to now picking and choosing each and every tiny little thing that somebody could get offended by and saying, well, we got to cancel this because if you don't, someone might get offended.
Right.
And if they get offended, then, we're going to cancel you.
Well, and the problem is, where does this stop? I mean, you got
It
okay.
doesn't. It
So
doesn't.
so you're saying, okay, we don't want to do witches because there's Wiccans out there. We don't want to like be insensitive to them. That's kind of what they're saying here. And then druids and shamans. Well, we don't want to do that because there's ties to that because there's certain religions out there that have druids and shamans today. They don't want to do that. Well, what about God creatures, like God as a type? Isn't that a logical? Isn't that a logical next step too?
By having other gods, aren't you offending these people that only believe in one god?
Exactly. It's just it's a very very fast downhill fucking descent off of a cliff once you start going down this pathway. And the thing is, now we have to take this all with a grain of salt because this isn't Wizards of the Coast. This isn't Wizards of the Coast. This isn't Hasbro saying, "Hey, we're doing this." Mark Rosewater, who's the lead designer, he's been the lead designer since 2003. And here's where I question some of his answers to some of this stuff on here. I'm gonna pull up another one that I screenshotted here. Someone asked, "Can we please get silver border cards?" basically in tournament play, and he says, on my long list of things to do, I hope to eventually get to it. No. And for those of you that don't know, silver border cards are from the older joke sets, like Unglued and Unhinged. They are, and I think they had some promo cards too at some point that were silver border.
Yeah.
But especially from Unglued and Unhinged, some of those cards are so ridiculously overpowered, like. There's no way they ever should be legal in anything other than a joke set. And you have him answering somebody here saying that, hey, I'm working on getting some of these silver border cards to be tournament legal. Well, there's no way that's ever going to happen. And yet you have this guy saying that right here. It brings into question everything that he says to me. Every answer that he's given in this thing, basically his Tumblr thing is basically just a open forum Q&A where people can just post a question and he pops in, gives a quick response. I don't know if he's trying to appease everybody with answers or if he's just talking out or trolling or talking out his ass. I really am not sure, and I don't have the time to go through his whole fucking Tumblr and read all his responses to get a better gist of what it is. But the gist I'm seeing right now is that the gist that I get is basically someone asks a question and then he tries to appease them. And the reason I say that is because, one, the silver border thing, and two, that one that I just read where someone said, hey, no, I like seeing druids, I like seeing this Celtic thing in there. And he kind of backpedals from when he's saying druid and shaman are kind of on the chopping block. He backpedals and says, well, we're not really looking at druid so much, it's just shaman. That sounds to me like you're just trying to appease anybody that asks you a question, and that's frankly bullshit. But
yeah, and this whole witch thing is dumb. It's like, again, same thing with Dungeons and Dragons. They got rid of the witch, right? But yet here we have warlocks. So people who don't understand the historical significance of what a warlock is, a witch is female. The male version of a witch is called a warlock. However, in Dungeons and Dragons, they're just called warlocks. You can have female warlocks. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, from a historical, the nomenclature of the word doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And the same thing with if they do this for Magic the Gathering, just getting rid of the term witch but keeping warlock. Yeah.
I don't. Whatever it is, I say it is what it is on that because they don't have any witch yet, anyways. So it's like whatever. But I don't agree with them taking creature types that they already have and basically stamping it cancel culture on these types because it might hypothetically offend somebody. When
Yeah.
I guarantee you
Well,
that
they got well. This goes back to the word they got rid of. You can't say tribal anymore, right?
oh right, it's typal now.
You can't say tribal, which is dumb. I'm gonna say tribal until the end of time.
Yeah, I am too.
Because,
It doesn't. First of all, typal does not roll off the tongue the same as tribal does.
well, no, yeah, tribal is not. It's not a negative connotation.
Not
Why
at
do they
all.
think
Not at
that?
all. No, well,
Tribal is just. It's just it's a group. It's a grouping. That's all
yep.
it is.
That's all it means. And again, it basically boils down to a very small vocal minority of people that want to bitch and moan and complain about something and get a bug in someone's ear. Then they go, well, yeah, you're right. Maybe we don't want to offend anybody. So yeah, we gotta stop all this stuff. Like, no, that's the old adage. You go woke, you go broke. I mean, you start doing that. Like I said, it's a cliff. It's a very slippery slope. And once you start doing that, there's no coming back from that once you get to a certain point.
I hope Mark Rosewater is. It's just him saying this.
I hope so.
Because honestly, if Wizards does go ahead and do this, that could, I mean, all the stupid crap that Hasbro and Wizards has been doing the last, year and a half now? 2 years at most?
At least.
And they do that. They are really, really going to be, they're going to be adding nails to that coffin.
Yeah. And it's, out of all the other issues that they have as a company as of late and complaints from the consumers and people on the internet and everybody else, of all the things this is something you want to now bring to the forefront. Like this is
terrible timing. Terrible timing.
It's
really
a cherry on top of that turd.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like you couldn't have made this a more perfect shit show.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know, man. It's like I said, it's a very slippery slope. It's I'll just be straight up. It's fucking stupid.
It is dumb. Hopefully common sense prevails here. However, in our today's society, you can't.
Common sense ain't so common anymore, my friend.
Sadly, it's true. So, I mean, that's where we are with this topic. Tell us, everyone, let us know what you feel about this. If you think it's a good thing, let us know.
Yeah, if you agree with us, let us know. If you think this is Mark Rosewater just trying to appease people and talking out of turn here, let us know. But either way, let us know. Like, subscribe. Yeah, I guess I could go on more, but I'm
we're beating a dead horse.
Beating a dead horse here, exactly.
Can you beat dead horses anymore?
Hey, that could get you canceled.
Right. So it's beating a.
You can't beat anything.
Of flour.
You can't even beat a rug.
Oh, that's right, because that could cause someone who was a victim of domestic violence to go have flashbacks. Yep.
Well, and beating a rug, you get dirt in there, and someone's got asthma. I mean.
Yeah. All right. Well, we better stop now before we get canceled.
Yeah, before I say something really stupid.
All right, folks. We'll be around next time.
Yep. Thanks for joining. See you later.